The end? Okay. I called the Committee of Economic Development and Planning together. Any discussion? No? All right, we have 3 resolutions. Resolution number 1, resolution appointing members of the Montgomery County Planning Board. I have a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
A second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. If people get their.
Everybody all set, right?
Yeah. Well, could we go around the room? Maybe you guys could give me names because I only have partial names.
I'll just clarify that you have my name, Mr. DiCaprio?
Yes.
Okay.
But if we can just go through everybody's.
Let's.
full name.
Keith McGregor, 24 Clinton Avenue, Fort Wayne, New York.
Wow, he knows the address.
Nice.
It's my neighbor.
Okay, Roy?
Peter Lawrence, Skyline Drive, Palatine Bridge.
Okay, Ryan?
I'm waiting to hear back on a confirmation before I give you a name.
Okay.
Same story.
Wayne DeMario of Trexel. That's all I got. Trexel.
He lives on Second Avenue. Third Avenue. Third Avenue.
Trying to get a St. Johnsville person on.
And then Barbara's.
Bob DiCaprio, Sanford Ave, Amsterdam, New York.
Joe?
And, yeah.
Joe's?
And I don't know how to spell his last name. Ryan German, Dale Street, Amsterdam, New York.
If I may, Joe, I believe it's Jemmott.
He's on the board now.
It's Jemmott.
There you go, Cheryl. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
You said phone book.
What did you guys decide on the alternate members?
I'm not sure how it was
I
passed.
don't know what you guys decided.
I mean, I have someone I'd love to put in for an alternate. They also wanted to serve, but the person who,
I think it was either the executive that got to choose or the actual board themselves would appoint.
Yes, it's on my resolution.
They have an executive.
The executive or the actual committee will be choosing.
So you'll have someone for the full board?
I will. Have faith.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the resolution? All those in favor of moving to full board?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Abstaining? Carried. Next resolution, a resolution adopting revised 2014 tourism promotion budget. Can I get a sponsor?
I'll sponsor it.
A second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor of moving to full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? All right. Next resolution is resolution amending 2014 operating budget, tourism promotion, I Love New York Matching Fund Program. Can I get a sponsor? Terry? Roy? Any discussion?
do we know where we are at for the bed tax funds right now?
I don't have a figure right now. If I can give you a call tomorrow.
Sure, that'd be great, thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving to full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Any other business to come before the Economic Development Committee? Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Here, here's my agenda.
the time being, it's working. That, works now, everybody's got two monitors.
I wish I had that when I was writing my pieces.
I would have, my phone, I do working stuff up, working on paper, my computer, and, sometimes a tablet. It would be nice to have one, giant screen. It was nice when Windows did that, where you could split it.
Wait for Mr. Maniac to get back. Gotta wait for Mr. Maniac, everybody. To be fair.
He's not.
That's, well, but it's courtesy, right?
You're a courteous guy.
What do you gotta do, right? Are you all set?
Yes.
Okay, let's call the Safety Committee Together meeting, and is there any discussions, first of all? Shall we move on to our agenda? Okay. I gotta get used to this thing, everybody, so it's, there we go. Let's do the first resolution is for our county executive. Do you want to
Make a motion.
I'll second.
make a motion to accept that? All in favor on the committee, I guess?
First we sponsor and second, and then discuss.
We need a second spot.
I second.
You second, okay. So now we'll have a vote on that.
We don't need to vote on sponsoring and second, do we?
Do we?
Just one.
Okay.
No, you just might want to open it up for discussion.
All right, let's open it up for discussion now then.
Well, I just had a question. If, is there any way to get a list of the collaborative people from Montgomery County that works with the youth department?
Sure. The Youth Commission Board, I believe is the proper name for it.
Yeah.
Every year, the county gives them funding to do outreach and invest in local youth programs. Some of you might remember we used to do Youth Day, that was a part of it. And, given that I was not going to use the money for a taxpayer-funded car, I wanted to transfer this money over. And then the youth board will decide where they want to use it. I'm going to be recommending that they use this for the wishful thinking program, but we can definitely get you that list, and I'll send an email out to all the legislators.
Not that anyone doesn't know, but what do they do actually? Is that the
Well,
basketball sports program?
they've been engaged in the wishful thinking program started after there was I believe actually a murder. And, they were trying to find ways to help some of the youth issues in the Amsterdam area. And now they've expanded to more of educational programming, and in some discussions with some of them folks, they expressed the need for some computer programs and hardware. So I'd like to see if we can help them in that area, but this would be something the youth board has made an initial go ahead to do this, but they will be talking about it more at their next board meeting.
So you're going to send us a listing or?
Yeah, I'll give you a listing of all the programming that they've done in the past, if you like, and what they're considering. This year, one of the initiatives that they're doing is a youth veterans cleanup day in the end of this month, where young people are going to volunteer their time to clean up properties and help out some of the older veterans in our community. Some of the folks from the wishful thinking program offered to help doing that as well. So that's, I know, one of the big things that they got going on this year.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to move this to full board, or would you?
Definitely, that's great. And I also want to say, I definitely always supported the youth department. One thing I did find out afterwards is Wishful Thinking did get a donation in the beginning of May for all computers, printers, desks, chairs, so it's absolutely an
Yeah, I think they got
organization that I
$1,000
support.
from a local, the doctors. I think it was for $1,000, but they have, there's definitely still more.
Legislator Tom?
The total amount, and maybe Matt has it or Sean, but we usually budget a certain amount for the youth, right?
Yeah,
X amount of dollars.
yeah.
What we're gonna do now is add 5,000 to that.
Yeah, no, this is a one-time shot. The youth funding has actually gotten cut over the years. I think now they're down to approximately $4,000 total, I think, for their outreach. It might give or take a little bit on that, but I know they've been cut over the years, and in some of my discussions with Brenda, you know, they certainly want to try to do more with that youth commission.
I guess my question was, if we increase that line right now, and I know it's only a one-shot deal, and maybe there's no intent, but is there an expectation that that same amount would be on top of whatever it is next year, and then next year, you may be looking to do something with the car, because you may need to?
Well, no, I mean, for my budget that I put forward to you guys, I don't intend on adding this into that youth budget. I plan to keep it the way it was. The way I view this is I don't plan on taking the car in the future. The only thing that I would do is, you know, for out-of-county travel, doing reimbursement for that, but in-county travel, I don't plan on doing that, and I don't plan on using the car in the future. So, to me, this is just a one-shot deal.
Does your out-of-county reimbursement now that you personally do, is that out of a different line than what you haven't used any of this as well?
Correct. There was the total amount for the car was $5,800, and I planned on transferring that $800 over for my travel as well as some the staff for whatever they did. I don't really plan on, exceeding that figure by much. I think we're pretty good with that.
Okay, thanks.
I think it's a nice thing that you're trying to do with that money, and I appreciate you doing it, so.
Well, I wanted to try, where can we get, have a big impact with, relative to our $100+ million budget, I think this will go a long way to helping some folks that really could use some help in the county.
Okay, and do we have a vote to move it to full board?
Full board.
All in favor? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sheriff has come up with some way to raise additional funds, him and the undersheriff. We had a meeting with Matt, we had a meeting with the controller, we had a meeting with the sheriff and the undersheriff, and they anticipate that they're going to be able to exceed the figures that they're asking for. I guess Sheriff said he's shooting low on that from the meeting. And he's going to get some things done and not cost the county taxpayers any money in the long run. And Sean said that it's workable. Doug says it's workable. And Sheriff, if you want to explain it a little bit better.
Sure. I try to go through the normal means of budgeting the money in our normal budgets to fix the infrastructure in the sheriff's office and the jail. But every year it's been cut out. The building is 16 years old, going on 17. And if you look at it, it runs 24/7, 365, so it's like 3 times that age. Excuse me, I have a cold. And because the funding was cut out, I have to keep trying to figure out how to raise more money and how to do things to get the job done. So I went to the county exec and to legislator Isabel, and I said to him, this is a plan I came up with my jail minister plan. The sheriff, not this one. Might be one of the sheriff who used to work for the U.S. Marshal Service. And the plan was to try to raise as much money as we could in federal business, housing federal business. We get $115 a day for housing them. And because of his connections, we're trying to get in as many as we can. It was budgeted for $700,000 in 2014. That's the revenue I anticipated getting. Now, the year before it was higher, but federal government was gonna change some of the laws, if they wanted to save money and kick some of their prisoners out. Well, their changes didn't go through, so the prisoners are still there. We're just tapping into other prisoners that we normally wouldn't get, and we're getting it here, from other counties. So it's increasing our revenue. I anticipated, some of the changes, some of the upgrades that I need to have done, and it was totaling about $160-something thousand. And what I'd like to do is like a 2 or 3 year project, where I would work on the infrastructure of the building. Not the cosmetics of the building, like the rugs or the ceiling. I'm talking about the infrastructure, our security systems, and just our alterations that need to be done on the interior of the building to work with the equipment we have now. So I put a list together of where I'd like to start this year, and hopefully continue maybe 1 or 2 more years and get it done. This is an investment in a building that's going to be around for a long time, that we haven't invested the money in 16 years. The equipment is breaking down. We are not recording our camera system. I told the board last year that the system was on a flash blade. We were borrowing a DVD player from a private citizen. Well, guess what? We're not recording anything anymore. The system is down. Our card swipe system is on its last leg. We're running a system that's 16 years old, a computer that's 16 years old, and if it goes, it's done. And the state, as part of our security routes, is we have to card swipe, which is you use your little kind of card and you go around and swipe it on certain points of the building to prove that you've been there. So these are equipment that needs to be addressed, needs to be fixed, and we either fix it now in an orderly fashion, or I come in front of you and say, hey, guess what? I need this money. You know, I got to pay for this now. I'll give you a quick rundown of some of the items, and if you have questions, please stop me and ask me, and I'll explain to you what they are. The first is computer software for the civil office. Now, yes, this is the jail, but this is part of the sheriff's office. This is software we've needed for the last 10 years that I've been asking for, and the board does not want to pay for it. There's a big liability here. We're using antiquated systems to get this system done, to get this work done. Next is office furniture jail seating. This is seating in the jail. Currently, we have foam chairs. They're not good. They're 16 years old too. So I was replacing some of them when I had funding earlier with phone revenue money, and I replaced 2 pods so far with these bolt-down steel chairs that the inmates cannot move or throw around, and they're a lot more secure. They can't hide any contraband. I'd like to retrofit the rest of the jail with this secure seating, so we don't have to worry about that, and it'll last quite a long time. Motor vehicle. I want to get a vehicle for the jail, a car. I put that in the budget last year. The funding I was going to use was from phone revenue. This money is money that we get from the prisoners when they make phone calls. The county gets a profit. The money comes to the county. Last year was probably $45,000, $50,000 that we made in that profit money. I used to be able to keep that money and purchase the stuff for the jail. A few years back, the state says, no, you have to give it to the county to take and keep it in the general fund, and I have to ask for it. And I asked for it in this budget session, and I was told no. Now, the reason why we need the car is because as part of housing the federal prisoners, we have to transport more of the federal prisoners. That's part of the deal. But we get paid to transport the federal prisoners by the federal government. And we also get paid by the state to transport their prisoners. So this is a whitewash when you buy this car. It's paying for itself into the transports. In my notes here, I put down that last year we generated about $50,000 just in transports of these prisoners. Next is technical equipment, which is radios, portables for the jail. I put those in the budget, they got knocked out. We need 5 new portables for our staff in the jail. It's a very simple thing. Computer equipment. This is the hardware for the computers to run our card swipe system and our camera system in the jail. Like I said, I want to start like a 2 or 3 year plan. This would be the foundation, building the foundation of the camera system, but this hardware would complete the card swipe system. We wouldn't have to buy any more hardware. Office furniture, we need to buy a desk for the jail. Computer software. The computer software, 4459, that's the software for the cameras and for the card swipe system. Our technical person, our data person at the sheriff's office will be doing the work to put this stuff in and taking care of it. The last is construction and maintenance, 4448. That is central control in the jail. We have a big work area where 2 deputies or 2 correction officers sit and they run the jail. Well, over 16 years, things have changed, but that area hasn't changed. Computers are broke, cameras don't work anymore, monitors don't work anymore. We got stuff just all hanging all over the place in there to try to run the jail. I want to rip out that whole counter area and rebuild it to what we're using now. I want to move some of the equipment out of there, put it in the back room where it's air conditioned, where all the rest of our computer equipment is. It's a total reconstruction of that work area. So,
And this is not taxpayer money, this is money that you're gonna raise through the additional.
this falls on
federal
my
government.
shoulders to raise this money to pay for these items. I had my sergeant in the jail run off a report of the billing that he does to the federal government. And as of April, the beginning of April, we had almost $300,000 in revenue already from federal prisons alone. It's not counting the prisoners we house in Berkeley County, Schenectady County, any other county that we do. So we're doing very well in that right now. As of today, we had 30 federal prisoners in the jail, and we're getting 6 more, I believe, tomorrow.
And from our meeting, you're being very conservative on what you're asking for.
Yes, I believe that I will surpass the money that I'm asking for by at least a couple $100,000. And that couple $100,000 will go back to the general fund to, to offset your budget in the future.
Sheriff, just one question on the vehicle that you use to transport the federal prisoners. What vehicle are you using now?
We have a jail vehicle now, a Chevy Impala.
And is this going to supplement that or replace it?
It's going to replace that vehicle.
Is it in rough shape, the one you got now, or?
It's got almost 200,000 on it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll just say real quick, I'll sponsor it. Somebody else wants to second it.
So
just for
can I get a second for that?
formalities. There we go.
And all in favor of moving this to full?
No,
Wait,
correct.
hold on.
Okay.
Yes, Tom?
Sheriff, I heard you say that you have a 2 or 3 year plan. Is this a 2 or 3 year plan?
No, this I'd like to accomplish this year.
That was my next question, was if I will vote for it and support it. I just want to know that everything that you're asking for, we were going to do in this budget year, because if you couldn't accomplish it, and I'm just using an example, I wouldn't want to take $165,000 of fund balance, put it over there if you could only get $90,000 of it done this year. If you're confident that you can accomplish everything on this task list, then so be it.
The only, not to pick on you for a little bit. The only thing I'm concerned about is the alterations. DPW is stretched as it is to get them to finish their alterations this year. I can't guarantee that. I'm hoping that it should be an easy thing to do, though, to rip out the counter area and rebuild it new. So, but yeah, I'm hoping to accomplish all this year. Like I said, this is the beginning. Next year I'll move on. We want to finish the camera system. This is only the foundation. We're putting the computer system in, the hardware. And next year I'd like to go up and finish off that program where we'll be able to change all our cameras to digital cameras, not analog cameras.
So would this, Sean or Matt or Sheriff, and for the future, would this be part of what we call the capital plan? Are we trying to incorporate throughout the county all these ideas so that that's the,
Yeah, and we still, the department head still has some time left to submit their capital plan, but we really, with the sheriff and the undersheriff going out of their way to bring in revenue, we said, you know what, why wait on this stuff? This is stuff that needs to get done, whether it's now, a few months from now, let's just move on it. But yeah, moving forward, obviously, we want to incorporate this as much into the capital plan as possible, but I think what makes this situation unique is the extra effort that the department head is going to secure that extra revenue, which is not just going to benefit him, but like he said, if he exceeds that number by 200,000, that's 200,000 we have in fund balance to work with on our budget. So I guess the answer is a little bit of both.
Thank you. I'm trying to understand this because it sounds great, you know, I'm happy. I understand what you're up against. I kind of experienced things like this in the past. And it's great that you're generating this revenue. But why is this money coming from appropriated fund balance without increasing some other revenue or anticipated revenue line item?
Jump in, I had same question.
The reason why it has to come from appropriated fund balance is you can't increase the budget until you've exceeded the revenue that's currently budgeted. And seeing we're only 3 months through the year, of course, he hasn't reached the whole 700,000 that's budgeted. So therefore, we can't increase that revenue line because we haven't exceeded that revenue line yet.
So you're saying if we get some source of unanticipated revenue, we can't alter the budget to
You can't
reflect
alter it
that?
until you've reached what's been budgeted. For example, in the line which, in this boarding of outside prisoners line, he has budgeted $700,000 for 2014. To date, through only 3 months, he's only received $300,000. So he's anticipating to receive over $1 million, but until he's exceeded that $700,000 threshold, you cannot amend the budget in that particular line. So that's why it has to come from, at this point, fund balance.
Okay.
And
And
I
then,
believe Doug's had some conversations concerning this with the legislature, or upstairs too.
I have,
Yeah.
yes. Would you like me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Chairman Isabel asked me to look at this, and I did, and reported back to him. Section 706 of the Charter provides that supplemental appropriations during the course of the year, after the budget is adopted, can be made only from appropriations from revenues that have been received. And in the alternative, to take it from unappropriated, it says unappropriated cash surplus, what we refer to as fund balance. What's anticipated here is that the revenue from the federal prisoners will increase and surpass that which was budgeted, but it hasn't happened yet. If all goes according to plan, the term that I used when Chairman Isabel asked me to look at this is you're really borrowing it from the fund balance in the anticipation that excess money is going to come in to replace what you're spending here out of the fund balance, and then it would go back in to replace that, assuming that the revenue does in fact come in. But you have a provision here that guards against, well, you want to put it that way, that prohibits you from altering the budget for without budgeting, by budgeting revenues that have not yet been received. If all of a sudden a windfall of that money had come in and we had it here right now in front of us, no problem, but we don't.
Thank you.
that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a sponsor and we have a second. We'll move this to full board. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheriff. Okay, we have the final resolution here to talk about, unless anybody has something else. It's quite straightforward. Do we need a sponsor in a second for this? So,
Sponsor.
boy, you're busy tonight. Second, we can second it, okay. Thank you. And there's their discussion at this point. This is pretty much straightforward. So we have a motion to move it to full board. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, is there any other business? Otherwise,
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
I'll make a motion, okay. I'll second it, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Next. All opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, convening the Health and Human Services Committee meeting. We have 3 items for board consideration. All of the backup has been forwarded. I did have one question about, ultimately, will the backup for the request for resolution be attached to the resolutions?
Yes, Matt and I actually had this discussion today, and I'm going to be sending an email out to the department heads with what you're seeing for the backup. They will attach the actual resolution to that, and it'll be all in one place.
Okay. So the first resolution for consideration is a resolution amending the 2014 operating budget for the HEAP program at the Department of Social Services in the amount of $11,790. It's an increase in revenues and an increase in appropriations.
I'll sponsor it.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Second is another budget amendment. And this is to reflect a public health grant. It's an increase in revenues of $2,728 and an increase in appropriations in the same amount. There's another for a decrease in revenues and in the amount of there are 2 components to this. The other one is a decrease in revenues and a decrease in appropriations to accompany. And that all matches up also. Is there any discussion?
Sponsored.
Thank you. Second? Rory, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. And then finally, another resolution is for lead grant. And that's in the amount of $643, and the appropriations match. Any discussion? Oh, sorry. Thank you, Barb.
I'll sponsor.
And we need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Chair?
Yes.
If I could, I noticed these are awful small amounts. Is this something that's for the rest of the year, or are these going to continue to come in small amounts?
Is that the public health one?
Public health.
That is the COLA,
Yeah,
the
public
grant
health.
COLA increase.
It's public health.
That's
Well, you don't, that's not you. Who is it?
public
He's not
health.
here.
Can't.
I believe it's a carryover, Sean, is that correct?
I don't, that I don't know, I believe.
Yeah, yes. It's from 13 to 14, so it's carryover.
I can get an answer for you from public health tomorrow.
Well, this is my first committee meeting, and this is relatively inactive, so a nice little resolution like this helps us. All in favor of moving this to the full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any other business before the committee? Motion to adjourn? Thank you, Brett.
Second.
Thank you, Alex. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.